Mpirical provide compelling, interactive learning across a range of delivery options. Live on site, live online, or online anytime, we have a training course that is ideal for you. For a no-obligations chat about your training requirements, contact us at mpirical.com.
In terms of the global rollout of 5G as a technology, it's fairly safe to say that the earliest deployments will be based on non-standalone access. Now, I'm not saying here that every single service provider will be using non-standalone. Some service providers will go straight down the standalone route. However, for many, non-standalone will be the way in which 5G will be delivered at the earliest opportunity, possibly as early as 2019. So within this session, we're going to focus in on the architecture itself. So to begin with, we'll look at the ENDC model because this is what NSA is actually based on. So ENDC is E-Ultra New Radio Dual Connectivity. We'll also consider the user plane connectivity associated with ENDC operation. So this is the various ERAB bearer configurations that can actually be permitted. And then finally, we'll recap on the split bearer protocol architecture that's encountered when ENDC is operating. So just some background to begin with. Non-standalone access actually came about because of an industry-born desire really to get to 5G deployment sooner. So the anticipation was maybe 2020 that the earliest 5G networks would be about. But the industry really wanted the 3GPP to come up with a standardized 5G offering, which meant they could effectively roll out 5G sooner. And the solution was non-standalone access. And in terms of a timescale, you can see that NSA was subsequently standardized in the first drop of Release 15 back in December 2017. Now, what does it actually mean, non-standalone access? Well, effectively, when you're operating with non-standalone access, we see the existing LTE architecture effectively used in its entirety. So the device is still a 4G device, but what it can also do is use a 5G GNB as a secondary node. So this is our dual connectivity configuration coming in. So let's just see that visually. Here we've got the typical end-to-end LTE architecture whereby the device is functioning as a 4G device. It's using 4G NAS signaling with the network, and it will be. So with ENDC, the device will still continue to use 4G NAS. The way that 5G is introduced is through a dual connectivity process. So you can see our eNode B here is functioning as the master RAN node. And what we do is we introduce what's called an EN GNB. So this is a flavor of a GNB which can function in the ENDC mode of operation, and it means it supports X2 connectivity with our master eNode B. So you can see that the ENGNB is functioning as that secondary RAN node, and that's it. From a 5G perspective, that's all we really have. Clearly the device needs to be able to support the 5G radio as well, but there is no 5G core here, and what it means for service providers is they can get 5G to market more quickly. The downside? Well, with this approach, what we're really only addressing is the enhanced mobile broadband aspect of 5G. Remember though that there are three real pillars to 5G. One of them is enhanced mobile broadband, but we also need to think about ultra reliable low latency communication and massive IoT. Now the latter two aren't really addressed with ENDC. What we need to really support the latter two is the entire 5G system where we can do network slicing and all of those other interesting network features. However, by providing this 5G secondary node, what we can certainly do is offer 5G kind of internet browsing rates down to our subscriber devices. Now you can see in terms of connectivity in the network, there will certainly be the X2 connection up to the master ENB, and that X2 connection will be supporting the X2C, So it will be supporting X2 application protocol, and it will be also supporting a user plane, X2U. So this is to support the various bearer configurations that will be permitted. Now, on the subject of those various ERAB bearer configurations, you may or may not see S1U connectivity between the ENGNB and the serving gateway. So let's just recap on what those potential configurations can actually be in an ENDC scenario. So here we've got our master ENB, our secondary ENGNB, and we've got the serving gateway and the core network. There are 4 different ERAB configurations that we can potentially have with ENDC. The first one is the master cell group bearer. So you can see that the ERAB is flowing from the serving gateway to the master eNodeB straight to the device. No involvement with the secondary RAN node. We've also got a master cell group split bearer, an MCG split bearer, and you can see that at the master ENB, bearer splitting is taking place. So not only are we sending traffic directly down to the device from the master ENB, we are also splitting some of that traffic stream and sending it to the secondary ENGNB for transmission. And that's where we really see those data rates boosted. With the MCG bearer, well, there's not really any difference. It's only when we start using the MCG split bearer that we'll really see a boost in data rates potentially. The other alternatives we have though with ENDC ERAB configuration, we can see an SCG bearer. And this is where the ERAB is actually flowing from the serving gateway down to the secondary ENGNB directly, and from there straight down to the device. So the device is getting 5G data rates by using this configuration. And we can improve on that one more because we can also have SCG split bearers. And again, from the perspective of the RAN, the secondary ENGNB is actually splitting the bearer. So some of the traffic is going down to the device and some of the traffic is being split back to the master eNodeB, again for transmission to the device. Now clearly the highest data rates that you're going to see with this approach is when you actually are actively using that dual connectivity. So it's those split bearer approaches where we've got the resources of 2 separate RAN nodes to use. But of course, depending on network conditions, you're not always going to be able to operate in that configuration, and indeed for certain services and for certain ERABs it might not be desirable to operate with a split bearer. It really depends on the scenario, but these are the different configurations that are actually available for ENDC. Now just to recap on the protocol stacks involved, this is what we see from the network perspective, and what we're considering here is, well, this traffic that we're sending down to the device, what does it pass through in terms of the RAN node protocol stacks? So let's just consider our MCG bearer. So if it's an MCG bearer, that data is coming into our master eNodeB and it's arriving at initially what will be eUltra packet data convergence protocol. Now I say initially because once we've attached to the network and once we've started ENDC, it might be that we're actually using new radio PDCP, but to begin with it has to be eUltra PDCP. Just to recap, PDCP is providing services like sequencing of our packet data, encryption, integrity checking of packet data, and things like robust header compression. So that's being activated in our master eNodeB. We send that traffic down to eUltra radio link control and off to the medium access control layer to be sent down to the device. It's a similar story for the secondary RAN node, which in this case is our ENGNB, but of course we're only going to be using new radio PDCP in this case, and obviously new radio RLC and our new radio medium access control. Now in terms of our split bearers, well, we are only using new radio PDCP for this. So whether it's an MCG bearer, you can see that the traffic for that MCG bearer comes in to the layer, and that is where the traffic gets split. So some of the traffic gets sent from the master eNodeB and some is forwarded across X2U to our ENGNB to obviously be transmitted. So that's the MCG split bearer. It's the same story with the SCG split bearer. So we're arriving at the new radio PDCP layer. That is where the splitting of traffic takes place for our particular ERAB, and then obviously sent onto the device from each of the nodes for the split bearer operation. Now conversely, if we look at the device needs to obviously support a similar protocol stack. So this is what's happening on the user equipment, and there you've got the MCG bearer. As we've already said, initially it will be eUltra PDCP, and then it will be using new radio PDCP afterwards. And from a bearer perspective, we've got our MCG and our SCG bearers. That's the same protocol stack that we've already discussed. And as you can appreciate, for split bearers, then we can use the same common PDCP layer, but beyond PDCP, we need to split that traffic either to the 4G stack, radio stack, or the 5G radio stack for transmission. So the final point to note in this session is that use of PDCP. Just to reiterate that to begin with, when we're first attaching to the network, SRB1, our signaling radio bearer number 1 that we use for our initial signaling message exchange, it has to use eUltra PDCP. But once we've managed to establish our ENDC operation, you can see that new radio PDCP can actually be used for SRB1 and SRB2, but that's once connectivity is established. That's once the RRC connection reconfiguration procedure takes place. So what actually happens in the network is you will attach to the network, and throughout that attach process, there will be a reconfiguration message sent to the device when ENDC is activated. So when ENDC gets activated, that's when we can kick in to new radio PDCP operation. So in summary then, we talked about the fact that 5G non-standalone access was standardized in December 2017, and really it was led by the industry. They wanted to see a 5G standardized option from the 3GPP really sooner. So NSA, non-standalone access, is based on the ENDC approach to dual connectivity. You can see ENDC utilizes that end-to-end LTE system in its entirety with the addition of an ENGMB. So in terms of getting those 5G services to the customer sooner, this is by far the simplest approach to do it. Now the concepts of MCG and SCG bearers, including split bearers, still applies with this approach.
Need to know more? Why not visit our store, where you can choose from over 200 hours of video-based training. Alternatively, you can contact us to discuss any specific training requirements you may have.